Okay, so I've done my measurements, and I've got to add 68.5 pounds to the right. Take 68.5 pounds off the right side, or add it to the left side. So if I'm gonna, now this is all for me, I've never tried this before, so we'll see what happens. But if I turn this bar, and they work on flats, but we don't have flats on here, so I'm gonna have to mark the bar in 4 spots, and try and get an idea of how far I'm turning it. So I'll do that with a texter. And generally, now the rule of thumb is, if we're changing weight to one side, now all we're trying to do here is get weight even on either side. So it doesn't really matter how much you turn them. It's when you put in what we call preload onto one tire, that's when we only work to like 3 flats maximum. So I'm going to mark my bar. So if I mark the bar there and there, so that's our bottom and our top, our side and our top. So if I turn that, if I take weight off, I've got to close this up. So I'm trying to, it's not going to work with just my hands, is it? Oh yes, oh no. Oh no, I'm going to have to get something better to turn it with. All right, I'll go and get some tools. I've got to try and chock these wheels too. All right, we got some tools. We got the old plumber's tool. If I turn that now, so that's at the bottom, let's see what it does on the scales. So what am I doing? What am I doing? Am I shortening that by doing that? I think I am. We'll soon find out anyway. Righto. Okay, let's see what that's done. I know it's like not ideal to be using these freaking tools, but anyway. Okay, let's go and see what change we made. Alright, so that change has, so our right rear has gone from 717 to 718, right? So, I don't know if you can see that, that's bloody, there we go. Now, but if you look at the left rear, we've gone from 560 to 586. So that's increased it. So what I'm going to do is I'll wind that again a bit more, and we'll see if we can put a bit more weight on that left side again. Okay, all right, let's do it again. So I'm just going to mark it the other side of this. So we've got the mark there, so I've gone 1/4 of a turn down. So I'm going to go another 1/4 and we'll see what it does. Righto, that's 1/4 of a turn. While I'm at it, I'll mark this side as well. So now we've got 4/4 of the bar marked. So what that's doing is actually lengthening that bar. All right, so it's lengthening the bar. Okay, we'll go and see what it did. All right, back again. So what it's done is it's gone from I think it was 587 to 592. Now let's go and change that over. We'll go and have a look at the other side. And it's come back to 712. So we're still 100 pounds out, I think, just over 100 pounds. Yes, so that's going to be, that's 6, and that's going to be, let me think, 6 and 7. So yeah, nearly 100 pounds, just over 20 pounds. All right, we'll just, I'll keep working on that. Okay, so I had to go back to basics, or where I was, because I had to move the car a little bit because it wasn't quite on the scales right. So I've gone back to where my 0 setting was, and I'm going to go out again. I went 3/4 of a turn before. We'll just see how it goes. So that's 1/4 of a turn. That's half a turn. There's 3/4 of a turn. Okay, let's go and have a look and see what that did to the weights. Okay, so I've got left rear on. Left rear is telling me 657. Right rear 717. So we're within 57. So that's 60 pounds. Yeah. Geez, that's close. 50 pounds. That's. I might go one more turn, so it makes it a full turn. And we'll see what sort of difference that makes. Alright, so we'll go one more turn. Now we're tight, it's getting tight. So it seems to have taken pressure off, but now it's trying to push pressure on. So it's pulled it back and now it's pushing it. Alright, there's that other turn. So now we're a full turn around. Let's go and see now how much of a difference. Alright, so it's gone from, was it 700 and something? Can't remember it straight off, but to 707. So that's right rear. So now we go left rear. So 707, 76. So we're back to 40 pounds now. So I reckon, I'm thinking I might adjust the other bar, because I've been lengthening this bar. I might look at pulling the other bar in on the other side and see if that changes it, to get us close to that. Well, 766, yeah, so 40 pound. If I go 1/4 of a turn, I reckon that'll nearly do it. So I think I need to, we'll see. Anyway, I'll turn it one way and we'll see what it does. If it doesn't work the way I want it, I'll turn it the other way. All right. So, because I was lengthening the other bar, I'm thinking I'm going to go and shorten this one, and we'll see what it does. So I think I've got to go that way to shorten it. We'll find out. So yeah, I'm hoping that if I shorten this, it's going to go that way, close up. So it means it'll pull the top across, which will try and twist the diff down. And to me, that's going to force pressure onto the tyre down. But we'll see if my theory, if I'm on the right idea, got the right idea for the theory. So we're going to go one flat or 1/4. So I've marked my bar again. So that's 1/4. Now I think that's freaking. Did that spread it? We'll go and see. I'll go and have a look at we'll go and have a look at the weights. Okay, so by adjusting that adjustment, then I've gone from 667 to 672, and then it's brought back the weight on the right side to 704 from 7, I think it was 715 or something like that. So I think we're going on the right direction. So we'll do another change again. All right, so what I've done, I've gone and lengthened the top bar on the driver's side or right hand side, and I've lengthened by 1 turn. On the passenger side or the left hand side, I have shortened it by 1 turn. What I've done now is I've shifted the weight from, we had 150 pounds all heavier on the right side, and I've shifted it to the left side, and I've now got 100 pounds heavier on the left side. So my theory there is, and people can tell me if I'm wrong, but if the car torques, so remember the left side wants to come up, so the left side's taking weight off when the car torques. So I'm thinking that when I'd launch the car, because I haven't got an ARB on the back, so I can't get the diff to stay square. So it wants to twist weight off the body onto the right hand rear. That 100 pounds should go to the right rear. That's my theory. People can tell me different. Now, the one thing I need to take into consideration here as well is my pinion angle. So now I'm going to check my pinion angle and check where it is in relation to my tail shaft and my engine. By lengthening the back, by pushing the right rear back, it would have naturally wanted to pull the pinion angle up. But by shortening so lengthening the right and then shortening the left, they should work against each other, and the pinion angle should stay pretty close to the same. Now, pinion angle, we're trying to maintain it between 1 to 2 degrees on the dip down, so the nose of the pinion's dipping down a fraction. On a 4-link car, the pinion angle, the diff doesn't twist too much like that, so it doesn't lift the nose of the pinion up. So if we can keep it at 1 to 2, so in that, I think they call it a negative down pinion angle, keep it slightly down. We don't want it in the up position, because if it's slightly up, it's not it's not a good way to be. I believe that you're supposed to have them loaded by pushing them down, because that works the uni better. It doesn't float. The other way too is that the closer you are to true, that there's less load or drag on the uni, which helps. Obviously, doesn't take horsepower out of the car too. Let's go and see what the front's doing now. Okay. What I'm thinking of doing next now, okay, I'm probably going a little bit back to front. I probably could have done the bar changes first and then got my weights. Fair enough, but I didn't want to go mucking around with the bars until I knew what the adjustments are gonna, how much of adjustment you put into it to be able to get your weight to move. So now I know what I'm up against there. I can look at doing the bar adjustments and then go and reset the weights. So I think I'm getting my head around it. Anyway, it's all playing here. It doesn't mean anything until you get on the track. So I'd love to do a test and tune in another maybe a few weeks once I get this right, and then hopefully I'll get my old mate Jimbo to help me out with the dyno and give us a help out with the tune, so we can actually go down cleanly down the track, get the engine running as sweet as it can. We'll get some decent power into it so that the actual suspension can work. Before I actually throw any nitrous at it, I think it's what's the point in wasting nitrous if the car doesn't run. So if we get it running nicely, NA, and this is only a little 350 small block Chev. It's not a big powered engine, so the nitrous is what makes it work. So it should behave quite nicely if we can get the car to drive straight. Then we can looking at adding some kits to it, or adding some horsepower to it, and see. Currently I think I've got a 50 kit set up for it on it, and another 50 kit. I've got 2 kits on the car, and I've got another 50 that I can give it down the line, or I can give them both off the line. So all depends on which buttons I hit. I haven't got a progressive controller. Just want to learn more about what the nitrous does before I start playing with all these other components. I think I'm going to jump too far into the deep end if I go there, and it'll just mess with my head, and I'll end up, getting frustrated and wanting to throw it away. So I think if I just sneak up on it, get my head around it, don't hurt anything, and who knows, another few months or whatever, it'll be a very good car. So anyway, that's the suspension side of things. I'm going to have a little bit of a play now with the bars, and I'll fill you in on a bit more of that later. All right. Okay, so I hope you can see that all right. I'm pretty sure you can. All right, I've come under to do some measuring now on my top bars to get back to, so I know where my point is to set up for the weights. So now I'm going to do some bar changes. I can always go back to that. I'm going to write all this down. So I've got a trusty little tape measure, wherever it is. All right, so a little story behind the tape measure. So I'm sitting down watching YouTube, Kevin Wilson, watching him do his work under the car, and he's got his little tape measure out, and I'm looking at it, I'm going, that's a sewing tape. So, like a person who sews material and stuff. And I thought, oh, that's interesting, that'd be a handy little item, instead of having a retractable tape, big bulky thing to try and move around under there. So, and I'm thinking that to myself and not saying a thing, and said to my wife, how's this? He's using this tape measure, rah, rah. Anyway, the next day she comes home and she's giving me a tape measure, a new one. So you think they're not paying attention. Anyway, so my measurement for my top bar is exactly 20 inches. 20 inches eye to eye on the left. And then if I go to the right, actually, can I check that again? Let me just check. If I go, it's within, I'm going to say, yeah, that's 20 inches. All right, now if I go to my left bar, there, hopefully you can see that. I'll reach over, hold my tape measure, center, really go. So center there. I'm actually going to say there's no difference. I would say, now if I go to the flat of the back of the nut, flat of the front of the nut, oh God, it's so close. I'm going to say 20 inches both sides. I'm not going to get too picky on that, I don't think. So if we've got 20 inches on both sides, that's even. We've evened it up, and we've actually moved the weight to where I want it. So possibly the bars were out anyway and driving the wrong direction. The other thing I wanted to do, and I was look at, is my pinion angle. So my pinion angle, I can measure off. So if I go to my tail shaft, so my tail shaft should be coming down on this angle a little bit. Okay, pull this back a bit. Down like this, and then the pinion should be going down in towards it, so it's like a V shape. So if I put my hang on, I'll get around this way, let me get this way. Okay, hopefully you can see that. Okay, now these little angle finder I got off eBay. Something like 20 bucks or something, got a magnet on it, so if I sit that on there, I've got, it was around about 1.4 before. Such a touchy little thing. Yeah, so 1.4-ish. Alright, now if I go off my bolts here on the front of my pinion, and sit that on there, I've got 0.4. So I've got 1 degree down. So the V of the, if you think of a V like that, of the pinion coming down this way, tail shaft going up that way, it's actually 1 degree. and that's exactly what I'm after. Between 1 to 2. So I'm happy with that. So we haven't changed a lot. We've changed these bars and we've changed our weight. I'm happy with the weights. I reckon this thing will drive. If I was out to go on the track right now, it'll drive true. It won't need any rear steer like it had before. That's only a guess. Until we get on the track, we'll find out. But happy with that. Now, I've measured that. I've measured my pinion angle. I'll write this down. Now what I'm planning to do is change these bar positions so I can move these eyes down or up. And then there's so many things. You could spend days on this stuff. So many things to change and check. But I may even just leave it the way it is now and just get the car down the track straight. But what I can do is, even though I won't have the scales at the time, is that when I go to the track I can do those bar changes as well. And then we can see what's happening. It's just a matter of doing a bit of measuring and change things. It might upset the weights a fraction. That'd be the only thing to try and get the back tyres to have even weight. So, all right, I'm getting out from under here.